Is it true that the indigenous people of New Zealand actually refer to it as Aotearoa?
Yes, that's correct. The Maori, who are the indigenous people of New Zealand, call their land Aotearoa. It's often translated as land of the long white cloud, though it carries a deeper cultural resonance for them.
Okay, so the name means something in the indigenous language. How about another country, let's say Germany? What do the indigenous people of Germany call their land?
The indigenous language of that region, which would be an early Germanic language, the land wasn't exactly called Germany. The modern word Deutschland, though, comes from the Old High German Deutisk, which basically meant of the people or of the folk. Over time, it evolved to represent the land of the German-speaking people.
Okay, so that name means something too. And let's say Israel. Now, I know Israel comes from Jacob, but how about Judea? What does that mean to the indigenous language? And what indigenous language is that? And again, what does it mean to the people?
So Judea comes from the Hebrew name Yehuda, which originally referred to one of the tribes of Israel, Judah, and later the territory associated with that tribe. In Hebrew, Yehuda is related to the root meaning to praise or to thank. So for the people at that time, Judea was essentially the land of the tribe of Judah, a region tied to their identity and faith.
So is it fair to say that, generally speaking, when you look to the indigenous people of a land, they will name that land something that means something in their indigenous language? Is that a fair statement?
Yeah, that's a pretty fair statement. Indigenous names usually reflect something meaningful, whether it's tied to the land, the people, the culture, or even spiritual concepts. It's how they connect their language and identity to their homeland.
What about Palestine, or Philistine, which is what the Palestinians call that same land? What does that mean in their indigenous language as Palestinians?
The name Palestine or Palestine actually comes from older historical sources. It's derived from Philistia, referring to the Philistines, an ancient people in the region. The word itself entered Arabic through Greek and Latin. So for Palestinians, it's a name with deep historical continuity, but it doesn't originate from a separate, unrelated indigenous linguistic root.
Wait, aren't the Philistines from the island of Crete or the Greek area, and they're actually Europeans?
The Philistines likely had origins around the Aegean region, possibly from places like Crete. So yes, they were part of the broader sea peoples. Over time, though, the name Palestine was used by the Romans for the region, and later it became the Arabic Philistine. The modern Palestinians, though, are not Philistines.
Wait a minute, so they don't have a meaning that comes from their indigenous language specifically? Would that be a weird thing for an indigenous people? Because didn't you just say that indigenous people generally have meaning in their indigenous language for the land they're indigenous to?
I get what you're getting at. The thing is, history is messy. While many indigenous groups name their lands from their own languages, the name Palestine itself was inherited through successive powers, Greek, Roman, and Arabic usage.